bet.
Yeah. All right.
Hello, everyone. I am Sandylu Guerrero of Life's Trace Coaching, your transformational business and life coach. Welcome to Transform Your Life with Sandylu and Friends. Today, I have my very special guest, once again, Jessie Sink. And I will tell you more about Jessie Sink. I'm just going to wait a few moments for people to log in. And I'm also going to take time to log into my tablet here to make sure that I can see your comments and your questions and take the time to acknowledge you. So I hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday. I know I did. Today I spent my afternoon at the Hispanic, the Los Angeles Latino Chamber of Commerce Awards luncheon, and it was phenomenal. It was great to be among so many amazing people, movers and shakers, leaders in our community, just really empowering, motivating, inspiring us to continue in our journey and our goals, etc. So it was really awesome. So if you're not part of the Los Angeles Chamber of Commerce, you definitely want to participate, you want to join. And my understanding is that you can join for free today. I mean, you can join for free right now. It's still free. And so I'm going to be joining too. I haven't joined, but it was my first event and I loved it. It was a great event. Met phenomenal people, and man, those people that were awarded were extraordinary. And wow, did they accomplish a lot and have really they're trailblazers that have opened a lot of doors of opportunity for our community. Anyway, again, my name is Sandylu Guerrero, Life's Trace Coaching. And welcome to Transform Your Life with Sandylu and Friends with my guest, Jessie Sink. Say hi, Jessie.
How you doing, guys?
And so Jesse's a man who's he works hard. He works hard, man. He's like,
I do.
He's working out. He's training people. I mean, you're all over the place, right? Doing photos, movies, different kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I got scars to prove it. See. No, okay.
No, that was his tiny little Weedle dog, okay? All right, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about Jessie Sink. Just let me take a moment to log in here because I'm so busy talking. I'm not checking where I'm at. I want to make sure that I acknowledge all of you that got on already. And let me see. Trying
to see the names. I actually recognize some of these.
I know you do.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. Let's see who these people are.
We got MITT family up in here.
There's some people in there.
Yep.
All right. Okay. I've been having a lot of fun with my connections lately. So anyway, I can't see who's on right now on my tablet, but I do see Chuck. I know I saw Nena Guerrero, Ricardo Rivas, Ana Morales, Ana. Let's see.
There you go.
Let's see. Nena says, "Hi sis, I suffer from PTSD. This is going to be interesting to see."
Trying to read these that come across so I can.
Okay, so I'm getting them now.
I actually can read that. So
okay,
if you read that, I'm gonna try to follow you guys on here and answer some of the questions.
Great.
A lot of this is, you guys, PTSD. It comes in many forms, many shapes, many different types, and everybody's is different. Everybody's experience is different. So this is not how it is. This is how it is for me.
Yes.
And how I experienced it and how I dealt with it. How I deal with it won't always work for you, won't always work for Sandy or someone else, but this is where we get to look at ourselves and what is happening with the things around us, what is triggering things, and so that you can be self-conscious of it and help control it. That's the point. So.
All right. So yes, definitely. And so just so you know, yes, we're going to talk about PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder. And just so you're clear, I'm not an expert on this. I'm not a professional. I'm not a medical professional, and neither is Jessie.
Exactly.
And he's going to share his experience with PTSD himself, and he's going to give you some tips and insight of what works for him and what has helped him, and of course, some of the challenges that he faced and still faces and how he deals with it. I do work with different clients that have suffered or suffer with PTSD. However, there's also to a point what I do with them, because I'm not an expert in this particular field. However, I do work with a lot of people on emotional intelligence, emotional mental challenges as well. But there's a point where the doctor kicks in, the specialist kicks in, and I'm very aware and responsible and know about that. So please be mindful that I'm not an expert on this, and it's something that I'm learning about more and more as well with my clients. And you know, and I'm very grateful for Jesse here for choosing to be open about these conversations, because that's what we talked about. There's a lot that people don't talk about because it's uncomfortable, or you're afraid of what you're going to trigger and stuff like that. So you know, a lot of people do not talk about what they experience, and PTSD is something that people experience in many different ways. And for some people, it could be they grew up in a home where their parent was always yelling at them, or they always saw their mom being beat up, or they were raped, they were sexually abused, they saw a murder, they saw the death of their loved one. I mean, it could be so many different things.
The list is endless.
Yes, it is endless, and I think that sometimes we don't realize it. I was held at gunpoint once, and it's something that I realized. In fact, today I was really thinking about it, because at one point I had to go to therapy, and I read an article, and that article freaked me out, and then I started getting so scared that at one point I found myself wanting to hide in the corner and thinking that someone was coming into the house. But what I realized interesting today was, why did that impact me so much? Like, why did it freak me out so much? But then I realized it's because I remember clearly how that feeling felt of someone being there out of nowhere while I'm sitting in my car, and it just, you know, so there's little things that freak me out. Like, I'm very cautious about certain things because of that particular experience. So sometimes we don't realize it, and we judge people, we make them wrong, we don't understand them, and because we don't understand them, we have no empathy or compassion. And so we want to make sure that you understand that this is a disorder, that it's not something that people really have choose, you know, but
you're not born with it.
Yeah.
She's not born with PTSD. PTSD is something that's acquired through something that has scarred you internally, truthfully. Yeah.
So before we continue, why Jesse Singh? So I have Jesse Singh here, which I met in a transformational training years ago. I was fortunate to be part of his transformational journey as well. And Jesse Singh is originally from Idaho. He was born there, and then he moved a few times. But in his early 20s, I think by 21, he was modeling for Calvin Klein and people like Tommy Hilfiger. So he was out there doing major modeling contracts with in New York, you know, of all places. You know, that's a place to be.
Trying to be pretty, it didn't work.
No, he was. Have you seen the picture? He's a very handsome man even now. But
what's left?
So what happened with Jesse, the reason why, you know, this topic and why Jesse is because Jesse did have something really tragic, something really awful done to him. He was roofied while he was at a bar right in New York, and next thing he knows, he remembers ending up at the metro station in New York on top of a train
station. So it would have been a New York, had been New Jersey Penn Station. So just to clarify for people, it goes from New Jersey under the river to Newark, New Jersey, out into Rollaway, that type of thing. So this is a big electric train that runs off of anywhere from 13,000 to 22,000 volts off of a tracker line. So yeah, I woke up on top of that puppy, trying to figure out what happened. So wrong place, wrong time. I take responsibility. Here's the thing though. I'm not a victim. I don't blame the person that did it. I took responsibility to walk into that bar that night and drink. I know it's not my fault, but this is where I want people to start taking responsibility for their actions. I forgive the person that did that. They didn't mean to do that to me. They didn't aim for me to get electrocuted like that. They wanted something else to happen, but at the end of the day, take responsibility for what we did. I chose to go into a bar. So I'm in an area where I'm around any feasible opportunity can happen like that. So it doesn't make it right or wrong, but at the end of the day, I chose to do that, so I take responsibility of it. Now, I'm blessed with what happened. I say that, and I can help you guys not let that happen to you or inspire you through this. So it's all about how you see perspective in life, but be responsible for your actions.
Yeah, and it's a matter of choice, you know. And I mean, had you know, that choice wouldn't have been made. I mean, you were electrocuted by 13,000 volts of electricity, and you literally burned your part of your arm off.
Yeah, so I have a prosthetic. Sorry, I have a prosthetic. You can see it, and my arm is off. sorry, right below the elbow, right down here. So it actually goes inside a socket, and I do have my elbow. So I ended up, with $1 million piece you can't replace, but at the end of the day, it should have been, and could have been much worse. So I look back at this as a blessing. I'm supposed to be here, and man, I can help you guys, like, not go through what I did, not experience what I did. That's why things happen in life in front of us. We need to be attentive to what goes on around us to teach us, so that we don't have to experience that.
Yeah, I mean, he went through a lot of things. In fact, he had got burned beyond recognition. He was in a coma for about
2 months.
2 months, and he had to learn how to walk again and talk again, right? Like, you had to go through
I'd learned to walk, talk. I'd learned to feed myself. Learn life over again. I even had to learn to breathe again, because I had a trach for 2 months. So it was basically a rebirth. I call it a rebirth, man. I started life all over again at age 21, basically. Not the best time, but you know what? It made me strong, and I'm grateful for it.
Yes, and so, as you can see, I mean, just consider that experience and the kind of things that you would think of, what you would think of, emotionally. How could someone do this? Like the natural reaction before we get to the point where we take ownership and all that is like, how could someone do this to me? How could God let this happen? We go on and we try to.
For 3 years I did that.
Yeah.
I yelling at the sun, whatever. What mad? God, why this that what? Well, man, yeah, I couldn't answer that. 7 years later, I'm sitting here going, disturbingly, I'm kind of glad it happened. I can't. You think I'm crazy, but I'm serious, because I would be an average person like I was, and it wouldn't benefit the world. Like, I can touch people now and help people. That gives me a purpose. A purpose gives me happiness. Happiness is, come on, we all want to be happy.
Yeah, definitely. And these are the kind of things that we got to look at. Is like, we see, when it comes down to it, events are neutral. Most events, if we look at them, they're neutral. We make up things about them. We choose interpretation. We choose to be a victim or a victor. We choose to have a pity party. We choose to brush it off and move on. And and I'm not mentioning these as any form of judgment. It's just a matter of, this is what we do as humans. This is what we do as humans. And sometimes we don't realize that the choices we make are really holding us back, and they're making the situation even worse. And not only that, we create more chaos and more hurt and pain in our life, and then we impose it on other people.
And we'll talk about that too.
Yeah, we'll talk about that too. So I'm going to take a quick moment. Just again, I'm Sandylu Guerrero of Life's Choice Coaching, and this is my show, Transform Your Life with Sandylu and Friends, with my guest again, Jesse Singh. Those of you who have just got on, you could always watch the replay if you want to catch it from the beginning. And everyone,
tag your friends, get them on, get their friends on, and get their friends.
Yes, please, you guys share. This is valuable information.
This is good. This is really a lot of people don't open up about this, because they want to see an iceberg like this, not like this. Okay, we want to expose the iceberg. The junk's underneath. You all see the beauty. Life is real, and people need to help each other like this, and this is where you can open up and be honest. So
yes, please. So you guys, please share. This is really important. The reality is that we all have somebody in our life, if not ourselves, that is struggling with PTSD, and it's important that we open up these conversations and make these uncomfortable conversations.
What's up, Terrelyn?
Hey, Terrelyn. So it's up to us to be part of that solution. Either we're part of the problem or we're part of the solution. I choose to be part of the solution. And Jesse chooses to be part of the solution. He could go and hide and crawl in a corner and feel sorry for himself, but not even. This man could literally carry 2 women in his arms.
Hey, shh.
I seen you. Okay, Terrelyn, you didn't hear that, but you know what? You saw that picture. Hey, you put that picture on Facebook. I saw it. But anyway, he's resilient. Like, seriously, if you guys get a chance, add yourself, request yourself to Jesse Singh's Facebook page and Instagram, Bionic Jesse, and you'll see his pictures and follow him. He's such an inspiration. If you have excuses for what you want to do and you don't want to do it, if you follow this guy, it's kind of hard to make up excuses, because if he doesn't have any, like really, we don't have any either. So let me say hi to a lot of you jumped on, and I'm grateful that you're all on. Remember to share, okay? Sharing is caring. This is about transforming people's lives and making the quality of our life better, and also, you know, to create an extraordinary life for ourselves and all our loved ones. All right, so hi, Violeta Lopez, Boyo Heights Santos, Melanie Persat Colomb, Yvette Brooklyn, Garcia A. Cowboy, Art Garcia, Aaron Solis, hello Aaron, Erica Flores, Jose Arevalo, Aura Campo, Cristina Sepulveda, SB Acosta, Jennifer Munoz, Rick Gamino, Myrna Medina, Gracie Henderson, Claudia Elizondo, Stephanie Mesa, Garcia A. Cowboy says, you're awesome, big heart man, thanks for sharing. Okay.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you, Art. Thank you. Patrick Inignatis. Let's see, who else? Tara Lynn says, yay. Hey, Tara Lynn, I missed you here today. All right, and...
You're supposed to be sleeping.
I thought, no kidding. He drank your water. All right, Patrick Inignatis says, amen. Took me 16 years to get out to my professionals, to get it out to my professionals.
Yeah, and you know what Tony Robbins says about that? It didn't take you 16 years. It took you 2 seconds. It took you 16 years to figure out how to switch that.
It's a process. It's a journey, right? Like, I mean, like I'm telling you, I was thinking about earlier.
It's
like,
hard to think about.
What,
but
you know, like when I thought about that article, I was like, what? Why did that article trigger me so badly? But then now today it hit me like.
Right. It's because it took you that long to make that. Yeah.
Crazy, right? And that's why watching these shows and all those people that are out there sharing their story, whatever. Is important, because sometimes there's things that we get to work through that we don't realize where it's coming from, and then when it clicks, it alters the course of a lot of things, right? All right, Rudy Escobar. Hey, Rudy. Let's see. Carolyn says, LOL, he's a beast in all aspects of life. Thank you so much for what you do, Sandylu. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Carolyn, and we're going to have you on sometime soon, okay? Let's talk. Violeta Lopez says, thank you for sharing. Carolyn Gold. Oh, I miss you too so much. All right. And Mike Alfaro. Hey, Mike. My sister's boyfriend. Hello, Mike. All right, everyone. So I'm going to have Jesse share a little bit more about his experience, you know, like maybe a little bit more of the mental and emotional state in your process, so that then kind of go from there as to what kind of things you did to be able to deal with things in a healthy way. So you want to go ahead?
Awesome. So first off, thank you guys so much for joining, and thank you, Sandy, for having me on here to speak about this and talk about this, because it's important. What we have is 13,800 volts. So I get electrocuted, and 60% of my body is burned. I go from doing runway shows to someone that is mortified to even take his shirt off in front of his family because it looks so bad. So that caused me PTSD right there. So you can, that's like visual PTSD for me. On top of that, I'm engulfed in flames. So, anything in heat and stuff like that, like for a long time, for 2 years after my accident, I would walk past, you walk past the telephone poles and you hear the telephone pole just going, because it's buzzing because electricity going through it. And that used to make the hair stand up on my arm, and I was like, whoo, like I would just walk the other way. And I kept telling myself, I'm like, get over it, get over it. You've got to get through this. Like, you've got to understand, like, that's gone, that's the past, that's done. And so I had to retrain my brain. Now, for me, I got through that. You don't always, PTSD doesn't always completely subside. I'm going to be honest. There's always something going to be trigger it, truthfully. But the thing is that we can recognize what triggers it and know that before it triggers, so we keep that from hitting us. You'd be around someone that gets shot, in the military or something like that, and every time they hear a pop or a snap or a crack, they're going to freak out, because that in that instant that happened to them, it's caused them, mental confusion and frustration to the point it triggers something that causes them over anxiety. It can even get as bad as hyper PTSD. I've dealt with people with that, and that's extremely dangerous, actually. Then you got people that, do harmful things to people because they black out. They don't know what happened, and they do things, and they go, I have no idea what happened. This is very dangerous, and it's real. We can't judge those people, but we can, in our walk, support them with what we've been through so that they can recognize it. I do have friends like that as well. For me, so what I'm telling you is it comes in different forms. I had the mental part of it. I also had the burns. And then on top of that, I was like, wow, now I have to go back and get reaccepted by society. And I'm going, this is going to be utterly horrible. But let's see. Yeah, flashbacks and nightmares. I'm just reading the stuff on the screen.
Yeah, we'll go to the.
So what I'm doing to deal with that currently is, understand why it happened, understand how it happened, and train myself and recreate a positive effect of stableness in my mind to understand where that came from so it doesn't trigger it. And I'm trying to put this into words so that it makes sense. But ultimately, I want people, to understand that I don't still deal with PTSD. I actually got through it, but there are certain things that will slightly trigger it. But based upon what I deal with my burns and stuff like that, honestly, I'm just going to tell you what I did for me. I worked through it by, honestly, first of all, I prayed about it. I'm like, God, whatever this is, I don't ever want to relive it again. I did. And I never had a nightmare. I never had a nightmare about my accident or the fire again, but what I did have is I had obviously the PTSD of the accident, of self-beat up, of why this happened, blaming the person that it happened, trying to blame the person that did it. Why did it happen to me? I'm not a bad person. The list goes on. But at the end of the day, I wasn't going to stay in that situation. I spent about 4 to 5 years understanding why the accident happened. First of all, telling myself in an absurd way that it had to happen for me, because I wasn't going to tell myself that this happened just for the flu of it. Like, something had to come out of this. I told myself this for a long time, and it's obviously surfacing. But looking at the glass half full and understanding what I'm capable of and what I can do now has saved me. That's the biggest thing I think a lot of us have trouble with. With our PTSD is we're always going to look at the negative side of it and what it's causing. I always try to look at the glass half full. I always try to see the positive in something. Even if somebody yells at me or does something like that, I'm going to look at the mirror and go, what could I have done to cause that before I even get mad at that person? Because everything happens in the mirror. But I want to get more into this. I'm just telling you kind of my experience with PTSD. Obviously, it hasn't been the extent of some of you guys', but I've dealt with it. It's bothered me. I don't let it run my life. And that's what I don't want a lot of us doing, is being a victim of our PTSD. Well, I can't do this. That every time I do this, it comes up, it pops up. Can you change that thinking? Can you understand what is triggering it? And can you maybe even ask the people around you to support you in that? Like, for instance, if you get shot and something hits you, maybe ask your friends to quit beating on the dresser beside you, because like it bugs me, right? And if you get people to support you like that and something like that, like, talk about it. Don't be the shy person like, well, I don't want to make them think I'm crazy because tell them, like, say, hey, you guys, man, it may sound crazy, but that like makes me crazy when you're hitting that box. Can you not hit it? Do you know what I mean? And respect the person, respect the people around you. Sandy, I know you've had, different experiences and stuff with PTSD too. And it even went as far as this, before I kind of hand it over to you for a minute, but this even goes as far as getting relationships, right? So how would you feel if you go through something like this and you have a breakup with a girl and you're scared to date another girl because you're like, dude, well, the last one didn't like things, so this is going to be a continuum. How would that make you feel? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that can even be a form too, and that's something that actually I had to deal with. Like, it's real stuff. Like, you trying to, go over here and talk to this woman, and you've already created this craziness in your head that it's not going to work. Well, that's something that I had to get through too. So this is all about, perspective, looking at the glass half full, what triggers it, what don't. I want to know, like some of you guys, what you've dealt with. I want to see some of you post some things, ask some questions. I can kind of see it on the screen.
I'm going to read some of the comments, and that way.
But I do want to work with you because this isn't all about me. I can tell you my experience, but it's not going to be for you. Like, I look at a person in a wheelchair, I'm admired, I'm inspired. That looks a little depressing to me. And I'm sure there's people that look at me that have all their limbs, and they probably think the same thing about me. Man, he's got an arm that's got a little depressing. You know what? There's always someone worse. And I'm good, and you're good, and we're good. Hey, you always have to look at that.
I look at you and I say, man, he looks really good, man. And,
so,
you know, I have my extra leg. You know, but it's choice, right? It comes down to choice.
Yeah.
It really does come down to choice. Like here, I'm full, whole and complete. You know, I'm healthy as far as I know. And, you know, and I make the choice to keep eating cake. He makes a choice to keep working out. You know, it is a matter of choice too, and a level of awareness. And I think that when you put yourself in a position to get the support and the help that you need, and I think that's the hard part. So I know for you, you went through turmoil in the beginning. You were drinking. You were like having out of control
self-destruction.
party. Yeah. So what was the trigger that finally made you say, okay, I really do need to get help, and I'm gonna get help. I'm gonna do something about this, because that's really key to helping people. You know, like, you know, and understanding, you know, if your loved one's going through it, or if you're struggling with it. What is it, you know, what is it going to do? What is it going to take for you?
Well, what it took for me is rock bottom. Everyone's different. Self-sabotaging out. So I got in trouble with the law and making some bad decisions, and I ended up, you know, in jail for a minute. And that was my bottom, because I hate being incarcerated. Like, that's the worst for me. I need to be outside in the sunshine. So that was really depressing and really hit me hard. I was in for like 28 days, okay? You know, and you got to live and learn, and that is where I said, dude, I can't do this anymore, because I had all that time to sit there and think for 28 days, and I had to come up with a solution that you ain't gonna do that anymore. I'm not gonna act like that. That's not gonna happen anymore. And it was good for me, because it got me where I am today. But it was a tough road.
What kind of help did you get?
I actually turned myself into 30-day inpatient treatment, so I could completely go clean of everything. Like, not be out partying and drinking and doing things that, you know, would alter my mental thinking, so that I could really, Jesse, you need to get straight. You need to get your shit together.
So you took ownership and responsibility.
Yeah, so I took ownership and responsibility, and I told my parents, I said, I need to go, I don't want to, but I'm going to enroll myself into a good inpatient treatment. I'm going to go in there, I'm going to clean up and, like, not rip the Band-Aid off, but get to the grit, figure out what's going on, and address the situation,
and address the stuff, right? Because I mean, especially when you lose a limb and you're so young. You know, here you had this big career as a model, and then all of a sudden everything changes. I mean, it's traumatic. It'd be traumatic. You know, just the thought of it. You know, it's heavy. But if you didn't address it, then I think you realize. I would say that at that point when you were in jail, those 28 days. I think, would you say that you realize that now at this point you've been choosing to make your life worse than it needed to be?
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I made it worse, and that's why sometimes you got to have more pain in your life. Like you're going through some stuff. Sometimes you're gonna get hit a little more, because it's got to set you a little painful to hit you into that comfort where your happiness, and sometimes it's got to hurt to feel better. I'm dead serious. You just got to learn, and that's where you always look at life and say, okay, what's it trying to teach me right now? No, oh man,
why me?
Come on.
That's the automatic,
you know
right?
I mean?
People are like, why me? It's like, wait a minute, what is it? There's something for me to learn in this experience, and I think that's when if we really start taking charge of our thoughts, actions, feelings, interpretations, and realize that we choose the final outcomes of things. Like, ultimately, like, either that circumstance, that situation, that scenario is going to continue to drive you or be the thing that holds you back. Like, you decide, you choose. And I think at that point, like for you, was like you realize you had been choosing it. Like, I tell people as I work with them, you know, suffering is a choice. Suffering is a choice. And if you are not getting the support or putting yourself in a position where people are going to be that interruption, then you're going to continue to suffer, and it's going to be you constantly choosing it. And it's awareness. Awareness could take you a long way if you make a choice that's going to move you forward with it. Mm-hmm. One thing's to be aware, another thing's to actually make a choice and be in ownership and responsibility. So let me go ahead and take a few moments to acknowledge some of you that got on, and also all the comments that I got. I got quite a few comments. And remember, everyone that's on, please share. This is a very important topic. We all experience this in many different ways, and we have loved ones that are struggling with this. And, you know, sometimes we wonder why they're in drugs, our men and women of the armed forces that are in and out of you know, the Middle East, etc. And you know, we wonder how do we help them or whatever. You know, like there's, if you could get a little bit more into the mindset, into the challenge, feeling what it's like to be in their shoes, like just kind of get an idea. And let's be honest, it's a glimpse of the experience, because there's no way, just like I say, you know, you don't know, like I tell people have told me, I could never imagine what it's like to lose both your parents, you know. Well, let me just say, what you imagine is nothing compared to what it is in real life. So it's the same thing, okay? It's the same thing. Like there's certain things that we could only imagine, but even what we imagine is not even in the neighborhood of what the reality of what one who experiences such a tragic, traumatic experience actually, you know, interprets experience, you know, deals with. All right, so let me go, let me see, Patrick, let's say Tara Lynn, let me see, let me check here. Patrick and Igata said, oh yes, buried it, and when it surfaced, geez. Gilda Stern said, didn't ever label what was wrong with me, but I am not a victim of my rape anymore. Took 34 years to heal, 37 years to heal. Wow, you know, and Gilda, you know, I work with a lot of women who have been raped. That's
a serious subject on another level too. I have worked with a couple too.
And it's yes, definitely. I mean,
that's a deep scar. I respect that. In talking about it, it takes a lot of balls. So, it happens a lot. It does, and it's a serious issue.
Yeah, and people just sometimes want to say, "Oh, just move on, you know, brush it off, you know, make another choice." And you know, ultimately, it is about making a choice. But at the same time, there's work to do. You know, you got to get support. You got to get help, counseling, therapy, coaching. You know, you name it. There's things that have to happen for people to get through these things and be able to live a normal life. Like, so you know, if you've experienced anything like this and you haven't got any kind of help, like you look. I work with people all the time, and I can tell you that sometimes they've been suffering most of their life for the last 10, 20, 30 years, and they work with me for a few weeks, and within a few weeks they already look in the mirror and they're happy with the person they see. Things start changing. So it's really about taking action and getting support, getting help, doing something different, because we gotta acknowledge if something's not working, it's not working. If you're not feeling good, you're not feeling good. You don't have to suffer. You really don't have to suffer. There is so much available nowadays for us to be okay, you know, to be healthy, healthy, wealthy, and healthy, you know. But
surround yourself with people that have probably been through something like that. I know you don't want to be around that, but I had a friend that went through it, and I encouraged her to, you know, go to a couple of friends that have been through it and ask them how they dealt with it and kind of work together with it. I've never had that happen to me, so I can understand it. I respect it. So that's where I'm saying everyone's different. And that helped her a ton to go talk to, you know, a group of women that had that happen and how they dealt with it. And then she could go to her boyfriend and face him, you know, and get through that and understand the logic of what happened and not hold that. And her hardest thing was forgiving the person that did it. And that's hard. I know that's hard, but that's something that's very imperative. It's important. It's important, is forgiveness.
For yourself more than anything.
Because you got to let go. You can't hold on to it. You have to let go of it.
Yeah, and I think in part of the process is in a lot of these situations, often we realize that, you know, we put ourselves in a position, a situation, and then we go into part of our process is beat up mode. I shouldn't have, I could have, if I wouldn't have, and then we start thinking we're not worthy, we don't matter, we don't like, and it just creates more and more chaos and drama in our life. Let me see, there's more comments, so I want to make sure I get through it, because as you can see, time is really going really fast. So I acknowledge you all for joining us, and again, if you just join in, you can always watch it in the replay, but remember to share. Okay, so let's see. Yvette says, I've learned PTSD is a journey from trauma towards growth, one day at a time. Did I mention one day at a time? Yeah, it's one day at a time.
Sometimes 1 minute at a time. 1 minute
at a time. Miguel Contreras, hi Miguel. Nena Guerrero, my sister, she says, yes, you're right. I still have flashbacks and nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that happens, and that's why it's important to get the help that you need. Patrick Inigata says, walked into a suicide. Very young man in the military. He was hanging from the rafters of a tent. he said, ugh, you know.
Yeah.
And that, you know, right now there's so much of that happening. We're hearing it more and more and more and more and more. So I have a lot of compassion for those people in the military. I think that we really need to support them in so many different ways. And so, you know, let's do something. Whatever you could do to support, to volunteer in these organizations that support them. You know, people question what the government is actually doing for them, whether the insurance is covering what they need, etc. But ultimately, people need to know that we care. You know, and I think that's a biggie. You know, it's a biggie. It's not about the things. So what we could, you know, people know that you care when you volunteer, when you take the time, when you do something to make them feel honored, respected, and as another, you know, a normal human being, because that's really what they want. Most people want after they've gone through any kind of traumatic experience. They just want to feel normal. They just want to feel like they fit in with everyone else. Let's see. Hello, Jeremy at Vega. Patrick Inigado says, I see him when I wake up and when I go to sleep, and on depending on circumstances, he just flashes up before me. So that's him. He saw that military man hanging himself, and so now Patrick, I you know, and that's pretty intense, and I understand kind of, and I say kind of because you know, I've lost my brother and my mom and my dad, and I still could see certain things. My brother was killed by a freeway sniper shooting, and I could still visualize him. I'll have moments where it's just like there, you know, and just random things. I remember seeing someone have a seizure. It freaked the heck out of me. I never had seen, it was a grown man, never had seen someone have a seizure. It was such an awful, for me, it was so traumatic to see that. You know, we're all impacted differently, you know, we're all impacted differently. So you might think, oh my gosh, she's crazy, right? But we all are, and it's not good to judge, right? But it stood with me, like it really stood with me. I can't even begin to imagine what it was like for you to see that. But I really hope that you're seeking support. If there's any way I can support you, please feel free to reach out. But you definitely want to get support. You don't want that to manifest into something else, something more negative, or something that's going to actually hurt you or anybody else in any kind of way, right?
Yeah, address it. Talk to someone. That's the biggest thing I feel like that we have, is we try to hide this. We try to fix it and be our own guru, sort of. And we need help. We need support. We need a team. We need people around us. So don't stuff it, because it just grows, and when it comes out, it gets ugly. I don't want you. I use this concept really quick. There's so many times like this. And I think I've said this before. This can turn you into a garbage truck really quick. And I've said this before. I mean, where you just let it pile up, and you pile up, and it becomes too much for you, and you dump it on people, and it's just a bunch of trash. And you can really ruin somebody's day and really make somebody a mess on accident if you don't take care of yourself.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, is you hear people go posto, you know, the quote unquote comment posto, or, you know, someone randomly went and shot up everybody at their office, and this is just build up, you know, from experiences and ticking time bombs. People that do not deal with their pain, that do not express their anger, their frustration, or what they want or what they need, and they just bottle it all up, and eventually you're gonna blow up. I mean, that's just human nature, but it doesn't have to be that way, you know, that it doesn't have to be that way. There's a lot of resources out there, and we gotta take ownership and responsibility and look for those resources, especially now with technology. We have so much available to us. You name it, whatever you're looking for, you'll find either an organization, a video, a read, you know, a blog, etc. There's always something, and there's tons of meetups, support groups, etc.
Yeah, Sandy's right, and you have to do what kind of works for you. Just back really quick, for me, it was like surrounding myself with good people. I put myself in a 30-day, you know, treatment. I took responsibility of my actions, and I started looking at what caused it and healing from the inside out. And it takes time, but man, is it worth it. And it doesn't always completely go away, but acknowledging it and handling it and dealing with it is the first biggest step to being happy and getting through your hardship. And I know, I mean, I've not allowed to come up and confront anyone that has been sexually abused, but that's a very, very, very tough scar and a very serious situation to get through, because now you have to go on to another partner and trust that person that they actually love you. and you have to trust them. And once your trust is broken, that takes a long time to get back. And I understand that. So, you know, the biggest thing I can encourage you is be authentic, be real with your partner, tell them what's going on, and work together, open up about it. And if they truly love you, they'll build you. They're going to break you down. They'll help you with it.
And just remember that not everybody understands. Some people are like, just do that, or just that, or you only need to go blah blah blah. And you know, and I know because I, you know, like I said, especially I coach couples as well. And you know, one couple is like the you know, something happened, all right, brush it off, keep going, you know, and the other person just kind of stays stuck in there, and they're thinking about it, and they're analyzing it, blah blah, and the other person is pushing them, and the other person is getting more stuck, and feeling less and less like they could express themselves, so they stop. So it's we gotta respect that we all operate differently, that we react to things differently, and give each other the space to be able to speak out openly and feel a sense of trust. You know, trust is key. Trust is key when you're going through something like this, to be able to express themselves. Okay, so let me there's some more comments here. Let's see. Terrellyn says, Patrick, that's horrible. Garcia A. Cowboy, which is with Art Garcia, he says, I suffered second-degree burns through 20% of my arm and face in a freak accident. I never thought that type of pain existed. I locked that pain for years. Talking about it helped. Yeah,
so it's something else too we're going to get into is, you know, I told you I was going to talk about pain treatment and how that worked.
Okay, let me read the rest of the comments so you can get it, because we're down to like about 17 more minutes. But hello, Bruno Nunez. Yvette Brooklyn Espinosa says, your testimony will help many with PTSD who have withdrawn from life, friends and family re-engaged. PTSD is a beast, but our God-given inner strength will help reconnect with living again. And thank you for making that comment. And yes, I'm grateful that Jesse is sharing his story. And I know, you know, and I know for me, I'm a big believer in a higher power, and I think that's always been where I found my strength. Like, I feel like there's a reason why I'm here, and so that's what helps me not quit. Do you think that has been part of your?
110%. I don't always push this. I don't
either.
And I'm gonna tell you why is because this could be a form of PTSD too, if you want to call it that. Whatever, honestly. Depends. But I grew up in a family that was really religious and really good people, but to the point they were so conservative that even wearing a shirt with writing on it was like a bad thing. Okay, so that like kind of scarred me to the point where I didn't even want to talk about God, straight up. So I'm being real with you. I didn't want to talk about God. I'm like, it's weird, it's done. Well, first of all, that's my higher power, God. Wait, you know, call what we want. Yes, of course. I grew up in a Christian family. We believe that's fine. Yeah, prayer does help me. Are you kidding me? It helps my anxiety. It helps me deal with people. It helps, you know, my soul food. Yeah, it's very important. Absolutely. Am I going to push on you? No, because I felt like I got it shoved on me. So that's on me, and that's my problem. But honestly, it's good. It's helped me. Yes, I pray. Are you kidding me? It's a daily thing for me. It has to be multi-daily, and you know, a continuous thing that you gotta stay in alignment.
You gotta find what gives you strength. You know, you gotta find what gives you strength.
Because at the end of the day, I can look at this accident. I mean, I'd be crazy not to believe in a higher power in God after what I went through. I'm a living miracle. So. You know, that would be just like slapping God in the face, right? But yeah, absolutely. It definitely helps me. I encourage it. It's something that helps me heal. You also have to be human, take responsibility for human actions. That's a big part too, but it's all about balancing this. So, you know, we're talking about PTSD like that. I let that affect me in a negative way that I can't let affect me inspiring other people to be good believers. It's true. And believe good things. So I'm just putting that 2 cents out there.
No, I totally get it. But I always I mention it because I think that for me, it's like I think that there's a part of me that if I didn't believe in a higher power, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Like I would have quit a long time ago. I would have just done. I'm done. because I just got to those points
Right.
more than one time.
Yeah.
And I can say that if it wasn't because I believe that it's not my life to take, for one.
No,
You know,
it's not.
and
Yeah.
then you know what? There's a reason why I'm here and other people are not, and there's something that I get to do, and God has a plan, and I got to the point where I surrendered and trusted that there is a plan, and I'm gonna keep going towards my vision and my goals, and God will lead and open doors, etc. You know, that's, you know, and maybe and I get when people get resistant to the religion or whatever. I'm sharing this because, you know, like he says, we're not imposing it, pushing it, but it's what has supported us through our challenges, you know. And if he could if that has got him through it, you know, you gotta find what works for you, what gives you strength and motivation. Let's see. Hello, Teresa Granados. Great seeing you earlier today. Maria Esther Camargo, la tia. She's over there in Victorville. Gilda Stern says, I had a problem with sex after the rape, and in my relationship, so hard to relax and enjoy it because I seen the face of the guy who did it to me every time, and it freaked me out for years. You know, and Gilda, I acknowledge your courage for sharing this openly with everyone, because it gives other people permission to open up and to share and to get the help and get the help that they need. And if there's any way that I can support you, Gilda, and you know, Gilda's awesome. She's a total leader. She's very active in the Latino community, and actually is part of a nonprofit that helps women entrepreneurs in Guatemala. So
Nice.
any way we could support you, please
That's
let
amazing.
me know with whatever you're up to, and you know, with this experience as well.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you for
Thank you
admitting
for-
that.
yeah,
I saw that on here, and it's something I wanted to acknowledge. I had a friend that had a very similar issue with that. You would get intimate, and then they see the face of you know, the attacker or whatever come up, and that takes some healing. That takes some time, and nobody can sit here and tell you how to fix that. Seriously, no one has the right to tell you that. You're doing the right things.
Yeah.
Talk about it, express it, talk to your man, to explain it, and pray for healing. Pray that it gets taken away.
Yeah, and
it works.
you know, and I can tell you, Gilda, that I've worked with many people that have been raped, and I can tell you that, you know, you're not alone. You know, unfortunately, you know, it would be great if, in a sense, but this happens so much. You know, it happens way too often, and we got to talk about these things. We really do, so that people could get the support that they need, and they don't feel like they have to hide it, or they have to you know, make themselves wrong about it, or doubt themselves, or anything like that. Like, so it's really great that you're opening up. I really admire your courage for sharing it out open, because there's a lot of people seeing it, and there's going to be a lot more people seeing it later. Okay, so let's see. Hi, Kindu Vidal, Carmen Torres, Lupita Mesa, Jonathan Guerrero, Anthony Molinari. Hello, Anthony. Anthony was my senior.
Okay.
He's a stuntman, movie star.
Anthony,
He's awesome.
it sounds familiar.
He came on The Boxer. Rosemary Espinosa, Eileen Torres, Rudy Campos. See, Patrick Enigares says, thank you so very much for being there. Tomorrow I will see my psychologist. Thank God. Really, cannot share with my family. They get very uncomfortable if I try to get out in the open. So I disagree until I can share with my psychologist.
I'm sorry to hear that too. Like, that's a you know, it's the last thing you need is your family off your side too. The support system's important, you know, and sadly, honestly, that's the way it's got to be. There's some things negative about some of my family siblings that when I was going through my process, I had to disconnect from that somewhat. So I can understand that a little bit. Go to people that support you. Go to the ones that help you. If it's your psychiatrist, go to your psychiatrist. You're doing the right thing. You're killing it, bro. Just don't. If someone doesn't support you, don't empty yourself trying to flood them with love when it's not coming back.
Yeah,
don't waste your energy.
Don't
You're
waste
doing
your
the right
energy.
thing.
Yes, you got to do what's best for you, and sometimes not everyone's going to understand, and not everyone's going to be supportive. You know, in fact, even this happens with rape victims. Not everybody, like, they don't believe them, they judge them, they say, you know, and with women, often, oh, you put yourself there, you know, you ask for it, blah, 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 you know, like, and then they got to, now all of a sudden they feel like it's their fault, it's their shame, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And there's so much to, And the thing is that I think on the other flip side of it is that people don't always know what to say or what to do, so they want to brush it under the table because it's just so uncomfortable for them. They don't know how to help you, and they don't give you the opportunity or the space for you to feel comfortable and supported and not judge, you know. So
Right.
so we also, you know, part of us as the victim, and I put it quote unquote, not everyone's always going to understand, and it's not because they don't care, it's as if they don't always understand and they really don't know how to react. Okay, let me say hi. Let's see. Stella, hello Daniel Medrano. Violeta Lopez says, Gilda, there's a great book from Wendy Blight called Hidden Joy that you might want to read. She's a survivor of rape. All right, thank you for sharing that, Violeta.
Thank you.
Gilder Stearns says, I am so good now since my MITT and all the support I got from my husband after I opened up to him. So now I can help others. I am so strong and
Good,
forgave
Gilda.
him and give it to God now. And I want to help others with the same thing. All right, Gilda, I'm so glad that you've turned it around and turned into a positive. You know, if there's one thing that we learned through these trainings is that we have a choice, and that we're in ownership of our life, and we get to create whatever we want. And the fact that you've been able to turn things around and you know, help people, the fact that you're even sharing here, trust me, you're making a big difference right here, right now. And
Yeah, thank
hello,
you.
Amber, but thank you. So so now let's talk about the pain management, because I know we're running out of time, and I want to make sure that we talk about
Yeah.
that, because sometimes people turn to drugs or they become
Yeah. So there's different outlets of pain a person has. Clearly, I self-destructed myself with alcohol and you know, some painkillers and stuff like that after my accident. I pretty much needed to be on painkillers because of the extent of the burns and the pain I was on, but coming off of it and not using it anymore, and then finding that endorphin and happiness somewhere else is a nightmare sometimes. So here's where it starts for me. The gym, guys. The gym has never let me down. On a good day, on a bad day, if I feel bad, if I don't, however I feel, if I go to the gym, I've never walked out of the gym and said, man, that was a waste of my time. Never. The gym, aside from prayer and God, has saved my life. 110%. Because for one, it helped rebuild my body. It's the best antidepressant. If I'm mad, I go in and move some weights. You can't find a pill that's going to beat that. And I'm not telling you it's going to fix things, but dude, it turns things, for me, 70% better on the bottom half. And then the rest of it I could handle. So if I can go ahead and get a good workout, that's another thing. I was in so much pain sometimes where I would be holding myself. I ended up on the floor a couple times after my accident because my nerve, CNS, central nervous system, was in shock. So I would have impulses that was shock that was almost equivalent to grabbing a socket of 110. So it would shock me so hard it would lay me on the floor, right? Your body has electrical system in it. That was shocked and obviously messed up and had to reboot. So I'm dealing with some pretty extensive nerve pain. Now, the cool thing is if I go into the gym and work out, that dissipates. Winning. Now, or they could put me on Neurontin and it messes up my balance, it messes up my mood, there's so many things that go with the drug. Go to the gym if you can and work out. You will feel better, you will get endorphins, and you will look better every time you come out of the gym, which will be positive reinforcement on top of that. Plus you're healthier longer, you look better. Not gonna lie, it's part of the reason this helped me heal. A lot of the reason is because you get growth hormone, you get testosterone, and you get all the endorphins from working out. I do training. This is on a daily basis. I get people in that are coming off of opiate addiction. I start training them. They get endorphins from working out. Then you don't think about the opiates all day. Boom, we're winning. So you got to do something like that. You got to find something that motivates you. And I'm just telling you that was my experience for pain. If I went in the gym and I trained and I put myself under a little bit of pain, it dissipates, clears that up. I'm on the upper level. I'm winning. It always helped me. And there was times I didn't have an arm. So I don't want to hear the excuses. Oh, you know, my Uber driver, his excuse was he had to watch TV. That was more important than the gym. I'm like, it's good. That ended that conversation. It's about priorities and prerogatives. So you have to decide what rituals you're going to change right now to help you. And I'm giving you some food for thought. You can do what you want, but that extremely, extremely positively affected my growth and how I got through this accident for the first 7 years of my 8 to 9 year recovery. I still lift. I always have. It's obviously a lifestyle for me. But this isn't always about me going to the gym and looking like a beast and being a big bodybuilder. You can't judge people like that. Some of us use it for therapy. We go in, we work out because it's the only place we can let our trash out. And I do it on weights. And if I'm having a bad day, I'll go lift until I can't see straight and walk. And then you don't even have energy to be mad and you're okay. Right?
Do you mean lift to women?
Yeah. Whatever works.
There's a picture. I'm telling you, you got to go to his page, and he
Have
like
some
literally
fun.
is picking up 2 women, and he has his prosthetic arm. He has 2 women right here on him. And he's like holding them. No joke. I'm not joking. I know I keep saying it, but when I saw that, I just was like, wow. Like my mouth dropped, and I was like, this guy is amazing.
Yeah, I mean it starts upstairs, and even my look. God bless him, I love him, but my father is the most victimized, negative person I know right now. And he doesn't have social media. He doesn't even have internet, so he's not going to see this. It's cool. I love you, Dad. But the thing is, he takes everything that happened to him and blames something else. And he's depressed. He's miserable. He screams it. He smells it when I talk to him on the phone. He honestly doesn't even know how I'm happy like I am, because he's not even happy with what he has.
He probably gets mad because you're happy.
It's a little frustrating for him. And I even asked him, I got this little puppy, it's adorable. He thought I was joking with him about the dog when I got the dog. I said, it's the cutest thing you've ever seen. I'm like, do you seriously, everything is negative? I'm like, you gotta see my dog. He's like, well, it's just a dog. You know what I mean? And to grow up like that, which inspired me to think the complete opposite of my dad, to the point when I tell him I manifested something, he looks at me like, huh? What do you mean you create? What? He has no idea what that means because he's never manifested anything. If life happens, it happens. Well, it's meant to happen, Jesse. That was going to happen. Please don't live like that. You create what you think, and you think what you create. And if that man didn't show it to me, no one else did. And he helped me. I thank him for it, but he's miserable. He's miserable, and I pray for him every day, because at 65 years old, I can't teach an old dog new tricks easily, but what I can do is be a son that inspires him to move forward and be something that he never could be, and be inspired by that. That's the best I can be.
Yeah, you gotta want change. You gotta want change, and you gotta want, and it's a matter of choice. Like, it's really knowing that you do have a choice. And those of you who follow me regularly, you know, and I say this all the time, and on the book I authored too, you have the power to choose how you want to live from moment to moment. You really do have a choice. Like, every moment is a new moment. So all of you that have been on here, we've been here almost an hour already, and you could have done anything else, but you chose to be with us, which we thank you.
You sit here and listen to us ramble. It's good.
But but ultimately, you had a choice of what you were going to do with your time, and so did we. We made a choice to be here, to sit here and empower you and motivate you and give you some insight of life and life challenges about PTSD,
pain management,
and just life challenges, mindset, the choice, choosing to be responsible, choosing to take responsibility, choosing to not live as a victim, but to live as a victor. Ultimately, it's all about choice. Like, there's so much available to us that you could keep using excuses, but I'll tell you what I tell my clients. You could keep using excuses.
Screams depression.
And you're not really gonna get anywhere. It doesn't matter. Those excuses don't matter. Like, when it comes down to it, we can have every excuse of why we have our life the way we want it or not, or we can go for it, go for what we want. And you could even take your excuse with you, but you keep moving forward. So it's up to you. You could have your life any way you want. It's up to you to take action, to make those changes, and really knowing that you have that power to choose. That there's a lot of support, and if you know you need the help. So if you know you need the help, whatever it is, stop pretending. Like, I think that's what we do. We pretend not to know things. We pretend that we're I'm gonna say it bluntly, we're screwed. It's the end of the world. Boo hoo hoo. And I'm not trying to be insensitive. I've gone through things myself. But at one point, if I can laugh at my situation and learn from the situation and turn it around and then help other people, even better, because we have that choice.
Yeah, it really is a choice. And I try to tell my father that too. I love him. I talked to him the other day, and he's so busy and so exhausted and so tired. I said, Dad, we make a choice of what we put on our plate. said, if you need to take something off and take a nap, take a nap. And yeah. You know what I mean? Like, take ownership of what we're doing. What are we creating in our life? What are we miserable at? What are we, like, it's your choice. Yeah. It's your choice. And I truly will admit, I have people that are mad at me when I walk in the gym because I'm smiling and working out. And he's on Armisen. He's like, whatever's left of his carcass, he's working out and doing great. I'm joking, kidding, but seriously. And they get upset because they're like, they can't even do what I'm doing. And I'm not boasting. I'm just saying, starts up here. You've got to change how you think. You've got to change what you want. And when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, you'll take a different road. Till then, you're going to keep falling the same hole, probably.
You got to do something different. So that's what it comes down to. You know, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. So just know you got to do something different if you're struggling. And this is whatever it is that you want in life. Not only if you're suffering from any kind of mental illness or anything like that, but in anything that we choose, if it's not working, if it's not happening the way we want, then we got to do something different, and we got to use our resources, our network, etc. And find what keeps you motivated, strong. You know, the circle of friends, the circle of influence. Find mentors. Find, you know, mental health support, whatever you need, but it's all available.
Don't quit. Whatever you do, don't quit. And one more thing I want to throw in there a little bit is we have so many of us that when something doesn't go right, we just give up. We just quit, and it's the end of it. And I really want to encourage you guys. Claudia, you're right. There's support out there if you ask for it. There's people that don't want to talk about their situation, are scared because they've talked about it, and people have just like, you're crazy. Like, they don't understand it. It's okay. They aren't going to understand it. They aren't going to get what you've been through. But don't let that hold you back from talking to someone. And the biggest thing I see on social media is people just hiding behind walls, and we see it on social media all the time. When I meet those people that throw all this stuff on social media, it is not anything what it looks like. It's fake. It's for social media. It's for entertainment. And if I could put anything out there, let's start being more real. Quit the Photoshop. Quit the junk. Because people need real people. And we need real stories, and we need real heart in what's going on. Not just, well, you can deal with, you know, brush it off your shoulder. PTSD is real. It doesn't, you're not born with it. And if there's anything I can give you, 2 cents out of me, is I find someone that inspires me. And this is what I'm going to tell you, it motivates me to this day. I follow people on my Instagram that motivate me and get me into the gym, because Jesse Sink can't get into the gym every day. I'm serious. So please take this advice. Find somebody that inspires you. If it's not me, her. If it's not her, find someone else. But follow somebody that you can pop up on the phone and go, he's doing it, man, I'm going to do that. And go do it. Because I have people that look way better than me in the gym, and that motivates me, because I'm like, no matter if I have an arm or not, I'm going to get there. I'm going to figure out what I have to do to get there.
You know, you said something.
And you just got to keep moving.
Whether you have an arm or not, like, you are not your arm, and you're clear about that.
It doesn't
define
me.
You know, and that's the thing, is people they define themselves by the situation, the story, the circumstance, whatever they were victimized as. But I think that when we say my PTSD, then we're owning something that we don't want to own. You know, affirmations are very powerful. Creating an affirmation that empowers you is also very powerful, because when you're having those moments of doubt, when you're feeling really crappy,
I have it all the time.
Right?
I have it all the time. Okay, this is a daily thing for me. If you look at my social media, you're not going to see that. You're going to see positivity, because I'm not going to get on the, oh my God, I burnt my food, I have a headache, my stomach hurts. No.
Don't tell me that. It drives me nuts.
No,
I'll be honest.
Stop.
I'm
like,
a coach.
That is not going to float. That's not going to help you. And even posting, it's not going to do anything for you or your social media or your self-esteem. So you just start back over and write that on a positive note. You know what? My stomach hurts, but I'm going to go and train anyways. Who cares? done it.
Yeah, I love when people actually share a challenge they're having, and then they share what they're learning from it, and they share what they're going for regardless. You know, that's inspiring, that's motivating. If you just say, "Oh, I'm having a bad day, boo-hoo," like seriously, you want attention. So, but it's not the kind of attention that's going to really empower you. You know, it's if you do it all the time, it's after a while people just do not. They want to see you take action. They want to see you do something. Like, that's what it comes down to. Action, action, action.
That will motivate someone too. Post that, not, oh man, somebody ran into me, I got a car accident, today's just going horrible.
What next?
Yeah, I could fill a line with stuff.
Or
okay,
why
I could
me?
vlog all day on this, but the point is, it's not going to help anyone.
Yeah.
Don't post that.
And look,
stuff.
guys, we're not saying it as judgment. We want you to live an extraordinary life, and we want you to know that you're choosing. You get to choose.
If you want to thrive, choose your words wisely.
Yes. So we're already past the hour, but I'm gonna reply. There's some comments, and I want to make sure I acknowledge you all quickly, and then we're gonna wrap it up because we really got to get going. But thank you all who has stuck from the beginning. We really appreciate it. If you jumped on in the middle, you can play it on see it in the replay. I'll be uploading the next 24 hours in my YouTube channel. You can also, I tagged Jesse so you can see it in his page. Make sure you follow this guy. He's going to be empowering, inspiring our world.
Thank you.
You know,
so
he's already doing
She's
it.
on the way.
And so follow him, follow us, right? We're all about motivating, empowering people.
Absolutely.
All right, so Amber Roxanne says hi. Sandylu, looking good, thank you. Great topic. Yes, and if you guys have any topics that you want me to cover, please, or if someone that you find inspirational that has something great to share, please connect them with me.
That's another thing I'm going to add in here too. You're sitting here saying thank you for sharing. You know what the honest, real talk truth is? There are way more people with PTSD than you realize. Very few admit it. That's why we deal with this. And if we all just talk about it, none of us are perfect. None of us are normal as a setting on a dryer. And why would you want to be like everyone else when you were made to stand out? Truthfully.
All right, then hello, Gaviota Dominguez, Claudia Paras, I'm sorry. Thank you. Caroline says, thank you so much for sharing your stories and showing the world that having PTSD is okay. I think it says we, but I don't know. Samir Desai, Caroline Gold says, can and will survive the thrive. The through, is that what she mean? Did she mean the thrive?
Thrive, yeah.
The
That's
thrive.
spelled correct,
Oh yeah, thrive. Okay, just making sure that it wasn't some kind of word that I don't know about. Violeta Lopez says, thank you both for sharing and caring.
Of
You're
course,
welcome.
love you, Claudia.
Claudia Parra says, there's support if I ask for it. There's always support if you ask for it. Gilda Stern, thanks so much for your insight and sharing and good stuff, guys. Thank you too, Gilda Stern, and thank you for sharing your story and for the difference that you make as well. Let's see, Claudia Parra says, Jesse, from when I first met you to now, you are transformed. Respect you. So I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, thank you, Claudia. Yeah, she's in LP 105.
Awesome.
And you know what? Thank you. Every day I'm working on being better, Claudia. It's a lifelong journey. So thank you.
All right, and then Yvette Brooklyn says, concurring PTSD is not a walk in the park. Every life after trauma needs space. We have to make room for good things to enter. I commend you for sharing how you overcame the adversity. All right, and thank you, Yvette. You're always following, and your input is very valuable as well. Thank you. Let's see, Violeta says, PTSD is real. I know. Let's
100%.
Let's see. Rosa Lopez is watching. Amber Roxanne Villegas says, I didn't even notice your arm till you mentioned it. I was focused on what you were saying and your positive attitude, right? Because he's not his arm. Okay.
Amber, thank you for saying that.
And let's just be honest, ladies. He's a very good-looking man, right? Is he good-looking or what? Come on, show us the love, show us the hearts. Come on, you know he's a good-looking man.
You're sweet, thank you. But in another sense, Amber, this is exactly where I had this conversation with. I have a female that I'm going to start training. Self-esteem difficulties. Is a burn victim as well, and doesn't like her scars. What I told her is, I said, the moment that you love who you are, everyone around you will see you differently. Because she's like, well, every guy wants a trophy doll for a wife. And he's like, I can't be that. I said, you hold on, whoa. I said, you already are. I said, you're perfect. she looks phenomenal. She's beautiful. And I said, first of all, you're beautiful. I said, you're so hard on yourself. I said, what you're doing right now to yourself came off your energy before you even told me. I said, so if you can shift that, everything else will fall in place. And she's like, things are happening for her. And she's seeing it. And I love it because it just takes a few words of what I experienced and what didn't work for me that can work for you. And that's what something.
So
if I came off all like, you're trying to hide this thing and like, you don't want to talk about it, and yeah, well, I mean, yeah, it's over here, but I don't want to. Okay, this is weird right now, right? You just be you, and people won't even see what's going on. They see you. What matters is inside, and that will just add on to the outside of your personality. Ultimately, the inside is the outside. I'm going to tell you something. If you date someone because of the outside, in 3 months, you're dating the inside, so you might as well get used to it. You've got to go for the inside, too. And that's something else I had to help her with. I'm not a dating expert here, okay? I have a beautiful woman, but I'm telling you, I had to learn some stuff to get there. It's true.
Well, when you started loving yourself, then you found someone that would love you.
Yeah, because you have to love you before someone else can love you. And as you love you, the universe gives you what you feel.
Exactly. So, all right. I know we have more comments, and I'll say, Claudia, you made a comment. Thank you. Christina Ingalls. Angel Arcujo, thank you for joining us. Marta Cristina Aguayo.
Miss you.
Mireya Perez. Anyways, we got to get going. But any last words, Jesse, before we head out? Because now, and thank you for all that have been staying the entire time. If you caught in the middle, make sure you watch the replay later on Facebook. And also, remember to share it, guys, because this is really, there's a lot of people in our life that are going or challenged with PTSD and anything, live, period. And so this is an opportunity for them to see another way, to see a different possibilities.
Exactly.
So make sure you share. So any last words, Jesse, before we head out? So
yeah, so PTSD, follow somebody that inspires you, right? Get a good circle around you. Number 2, pain management. Go find something that will get endorphins, not self-destruct. Whether it's working out, whether it's going to the park, whether it's hanging out with a friend, whatever it is. Do something active so that you feel better and look better. And number 3, whatever it is your family, whatever is close to circle around you, talk to them. Be open with them and be authentic with them, because you can't hide things and fix them. It's going to make it way worse. Okay? Just remember that. That's it.
All right, guys, you got it. So thank you once again, Jesse,
Absolutely.
for being on with me. And
thank you, Sandy.
I'm sure we're gonna do more stuff together.
Yeah, we're doing more, and this is only the beginning. But this is a touchy subject for a lot of people. But I want it to be more something you talk about, like putting fuel in your car. It happens every day.
Yeah, we got to talk about these things. We definitely got to talk about these things. We can't pretend the elephant is not in the room anymore. It doesn't serve our society, our families, it just doesn't. So anyway, thank you once again all for joining us. Thank you for being on my show, Transform Your Life with Sandylu and Friends. I hope that you found this information valuable and that it'll support you in transforming your life and your loved one's life, and that it give you some insight to look at things in a different way. Remember that you have the power to choose how you want to live your life from moment to moment. You really do have the power. Every moment is a new moment. So thank you once again. If there's any way I can support you, you can go ahead and message me on Facebook, and I'm here. I'm here to support you. Again, I'm another resource. Don't take it. Don't overlook it. There's another opportunity there for you to get support. Suffering is an option. It's so you decide. Choosing to be happy is an option too. So remember that you get to choose. So thank you once again, everyone. Have a great evening.
We love you. We love you guys. Take care.
Love you guys.
Reach
That's
out.
a wrap.